All right, I'm on the phone with Maine Maritime men's head basketball coach David Muchnick. And Coach, a good weekend, and for the final weekend, you end up splitting, going one-on-one, and tell us about the weekend and I guess where you go from here.
Yeah, well, last Wednesday we had a great senior night, obviously honoring Zach Radcliffe and Brian Goda one more time as seniors leaving the program, and we're graduating. They wouldn't leave the program, but as soon as we started the game, we played with a tremendous amount of energy. We jumped out to big leads right away, 17-2, I believe, and we were up 30 at halftime and ended up beating Farmington by 35. And as convincing of a win as this program has had, especially here at home and inside Smith Gymnasium, in quite some time. And it was great to see. And our guys not only played the way we were supposed to play early on, but kept it going. Kept extending the lead, and weren't satisfied with just having a lead, but continuing to build on it. And that was great to see. And then Saturday at Thomas, they're a very good team. Fourth seed in our conference tournament. They won last night, so they're in the semifinals this weekend. And when they shoot the basketball the way they did against us, they're very tough to beat. So and that'll be a good matchup on Friday night between them and Husson for the semifinals of our conference tournament. But overall, Chris, we've spoke about it numerous times this year. We're very close in a lot of regard. 9 games this year, I believe, that we lost by 6 or less, and then 4 of those games, we had shot to tie or win it at the buzzer. So we're right there in a number of different areas. But at the same time, we had a wrap up meeting with our guys yesterday, and we just spoke about how much further we have to go with everything we're doing in order to get to where we want to be, and that's playing on the final weekend of the conference tournament and having a chance to cut down some nets and go on to the NCAA tournament. So I think we're on the path to getting there. I like where we're going, the progress we're making, and the fact that we've got good people in our program, good guys that do the right thing and act the right way, and certainly this off season leading into next fall is a big 6 or 7 months for where this program is going to go and how quickly we can get there. So
I guess, obviously you've got new recruits coming in, but it's tough to be that impact player in your first year. You've lost 2 seniors. You're expecting a lot from your this year's freshman class and sophomore class and junior class. The 3 remaining classes there at Maine Maritime.
Yeah, no question. It's freshmen are always going to have an adjustment period. The number one thing that's always different from the high school game to the college game is the level of physicality, the speed of the game, the speed and intensity of the practices, the mental side of things with scouting and mental toughness of this discipline of the consistency of coming to work every day in practice and individual workouts and film and lifting and all those things that we ask our guys to do, aside from the academics, which is obviously a given. But the incoming freshmen next year we like a lot. It gives us some versatility and a little bit more depth in some spots that we didn't have this year. We still have about 15 recruits that are accepted right now that are still making final decisions, that we hope to get a couple more of those to add to the 5 that are committed to us next year. But more than that, and we talk to our guys a lot about recruiting, because I think there's a little bit of nervousness right now on the team in terms of this is really our first full recruiting class that we're bringing in. That'll be freshmen next year, and the guys know how talented that some of these guys are, and so they're all obviously a little worried about what their role might be next year and how those freshmen might be able to maybe take some of their minutes away, and that's, to me, obviously that's a good problem to have, and I like that, because I one of my core principles, one of my strongest beliefs is that competition breeds success, and the more competition we have, the more motivated that those individuals that want to be here are going to be to either build upon what they've done this year or the last 2 years in their career, and knowing that they want to try to catch people ahead of them, and then people are kind of nipping at their tail from behind. And but at the same time, the freshmen have to know that they're going to become us, and we're not going to become them, in the sense that we're not going to change things around necessarily to, for the freshmen. The freshmen are going to see what we're doing, and this is what we do, and this is how we act, and this is who we are, and they're going to have to fit in with who we are and what we do, and more on the off the court stuff and the work ethic and the consistency and all that than anything else. But bottom line is, I like where we are as in the program progression right now. Obviously, we'd like to be further ahead, but I do think we're moving in the right direction, and I'm super excited for next year to begin. Obviously, I'd like to take a little time off and relax a little bit and catch my breath, but certainly the recruiting class we're putting together, I think, has a chance to be really good. I really, really like the returning guys that we have coming back for next year, and I think that the way the conference is kind of shaping up, with a lot of the upperclassmen that are going to be winning first team and second team all conference awards here in the next couple days. They're all going to be gone in a month or two, and the conference is really going to be changing here in the next year or two, and I think we've got a really good shot at making some headway if we continue on with this progression.
What's the one thing that your team needs to be successful next year?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think two things. I think I was going to say quiet confidence, but there's nothing about me that's ever quiet. So, I think it's a confidence of okay, we're in a close situation, we're in a close game, and we're going to pull this out, and it's not going to be a mentality of we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or we're waiting for another team to make a run, or we're waiting for ourselves to make a mistake. I think the mental side of things, the mental aspect of what I'd like is that confidence of, we've been here before, we know what to do, we know how we're going to get it done, let's go out there and do it. And I think we got better at that as the season has gone on, and I think you kind of have to with as many close games as we've been in. But that's something for next year, and hopefully with those, especially guys like Brendan Newcomb and Tyler Thayer that are going to be juniors next year. So they've had 2 years in the program. They're up there on career minutes played already in 2 years. I mean, those guys, I can't take them off the floor most of the time, and they've been in so many situations that they're going to have that confidence of being through all the close games that they've been through over the last 2 years. Dylan Price is another guy that's done that. Dylan Stevens and Tyler Gilson, again, have played a lot of minutes. They're going to be seniors next year as well for us. From a physical side of what the program needs from a skill perspective, I think we need one or two more guys that can consistently put the ball in the basket from anywhere on the court. I was a shooter in college. Jaron, my assistant, was an offensive player. Brian Shalley, my assistant from last year, was the landmark conference in the Mid-Atlantic region. He was the all-time leading three-point shooter in conference history. I mean, we know offense, and we know how to put the ball in the basket, and I think what's hurt us a little bit this year was our defense was so good at times, and sometimes our offense would kind of let down our defense, and we'd go through 3, 4, even 5-minute stretches where we had trouble scoring, and it was just that 3 or 4 minute segment that would sink us in the end. And I think with what we have coming in again for next year, with our guys moving forward of what we're bringing back and what their skill set is, I think offense is going to be certainly something that they're going to continue to focus on and continue to work on for next year. But guys that can consistently put the ball in the basket, shooters that can stretch the floor, obviously making the layups and free throws around the rim and around the paint that we need to do, and just making teams pay for mistakes on our end. So I know that's a long-winded answer to your question. You should be used to it from me by now. But certainly I think that that confidence on the mental aspect, and just a little bit more offensive consistency and being able to shoot the ball a little bit better next year, which I think will open up some things on on both sides of the floor for us, because I think our defense would be even better if our offense was a little bit more successful. And I think we'll be fine. I'm looking forward to next year already, like I said, and I think we're in a good spot, and I think next year is certainly going to be the year that we take a big step forward in both the conference and certainly moving things forward to getting closer to getting into the NCAA tournament.
All right, Coach, I thank you very much for your time. This, I guess back since October we've been doing this, and it's you've allowed us into the program, and we appreciate all your insights and a chance for you to get your message out and to reach alumni and potential recruits. And thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next fall.
Yeah, and thank you, Chris, for all your hard work with us this year, and thanks to Card Dealership as well for their sponsorship and their support, and the listeners, whoever they may be out there, and it's been great to talk to you again this year, and hopefully we could do it next year as well.
Sounds good. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Chris.